Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and once a week I like to hop onto YouTube and share with you how to create a card from the catalog. Sometimes the cards are pretty much exactly like they're found in the catalog. Sometimes I tweak them a little, sometimes I tweak them a lot. Today I am changing the stamps and the colors used for this card. I think I'm also changing the embossing folder, and of course since I changed the stamps I'm using a different punch. I think in fact that the original card doesn't even use a punch. But before I get to that, I wanted to remind you that we are coming to the end of this 2021 to 2022 annual catalog here pretty quickly. You can order from this catalog through May 2nd, and then our new catalog will be coming out May 3rd. If you would like to have one of those new catalogs, if you'd like a paper copy and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, let me know. I'm leaving my contact information in the description, so you can contact me and I can get you added to my mailing list and get one of these to you. I am placing an order for these on Wednesday, so tomorrow. But I can get you one in the mail even after that. It just will come a little bit later. So let me know if you'd like one of those. Also, I wanted to make sure you're aware that April 1st, Stampin' Up! Is raising their shipping fees just a little bit. So instead of shipping being $6.95 or 10% of your order, whichever is greater, it's going to be $7.95 or 11%, whichever is greater. So that's just something to be aware of. And also there's going to be a few small price changes in the new annual catalog for things like adhesives and cardstock and envelopes, that kind of thing. And I will be sending out an update in my next newsletter about that. So there's also a link for you to join my newsletter list if you would like to be informed of that. And you can also join my Facebook page, and I will be updating things there as well. So there's several ways that you can stay in contact and know what's going on in Stampin' Up! So now let's get ready to do the card. Let me go ahead and switch cameras. Okay, so this is the annual catalog I'm stamping from, or making a casing today, and I'm going to turn to page 62. So this is a stamp set that is, in fact, both of these stamp sets are retiring with this catalog, and everything that is retiring is available while supplies last. So if there's anything that you're seeing that's going away, I recommend buying it sooner rather than later, partly so you can get the lower shipping rate, but also because things sell out, and once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, so this card, this original version, uses Celebrate with Flowers. Oh, and I did use the same embossing folder. So that is the Tasteful Textiles 3D embossing folder on these strips in the back. Let me see if you can see that. There you go. So instead of using this stamp set, I'm going to be using Sweet Strawberry. And this set is also retiring, and so is the punch that goes with it. So let's go ahead and get straight to stamping today. I have this piece of vellum cardstock. I love our vellum. It's nice and thick and perfect for embossing on. So I'm just going to take some of the static out of this, my little embossing buddy. You can pick these up. I know that Amazon has them. You can also use a used dryer sheet. So I'm going to stamp the outline of the strawberry, the outline of the leaf, and the flower randomly on this. And this sheet measures 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And it's up to you how you want to stamp. You can stamp all of one thing and then emboss so that it's easier to see, or you can just go ahead and do all your stamping. You do risk overlapping this way, but I don't think it's the end of the world if you do overlap a little bit. Most of this will be covered up by another piece of cardstock anyway. I do recommend, I got a little carried away here, I do recommend, instead of stamping the whole thing, I would stamp only half of it and emboss one side and then turn it around and stamp the other side. This is going to be hard for me to emboss without getting my fingers all in this embossing powder, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm using the black embossing powder. This is from the Basics set of embossing powders. I'm just going to sprinkle that side that I can see what I'm doing. Turn it around, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this other side. Use my paintbrush to flick some of these extra bits off. Okay, so that's looking great. Get this out of the way, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my heat tool. Pardon me, just a second. Switch it before I burn my fingers. There we go, that is nice and embossed now. Yep, looks like I got everything. Okay, so let me make sure that my embossing powder is closed up so I don't spill it everywhere. Now I'm going to take this small sheet of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp the leaves and the flowers using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. This sheet is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2 inches, and I just want to turn this to make sure that all of it is on the piece of cardstock. I'm keeping it pretty low, close to the bottom, and it's going to be fairly close to either edge as well. Here we go. And then I'm going to have the Happy Birthday, You Sweet Thing right up here at the top. Sure do love these stamps that I can see right through. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Balmy Blue light blend and my Granny Apple Green light blend to color these flowers really quickly. There's that. So today I'm just coloring, and most days when I use my Stampin' Blends, I just color very quickly. I'm not worried about detail or shading or anything like that. Just getting the color down. And this time I'm not even getting it all the way to the edges. I'm just kind of being a little artsy with it, I guess. Okay, so there's our first two layers. So now I've got a scrap of basic white again, and I have my Poppy Parade ink pad. So I'm going to stamp first the inside of the strawberry. I'm going to ink it up pretty good, but then I'm going to lightly stamp off, and I'm looking to see how my card is going to go into my punch. So the strawberry is facing down and it's towards the bottom, so I'm going to stamp upside down towards the bottom. Then I'm going to take my outline and I'm going to stamp around that without stamping off first. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to flip this over and repeat it on this side, and I just put my pinky and my ink. There we go. And then the outline. Okay, so now I have a scrap of Granny Apple Green and my Granny Apple Green ink. So you can see this is going to fit in here just like this. So what I'm going to do is grab that stem and I'm going to stamp just right here on the edge, and I'm going to flip it over and stamp right here on this other edge. And now it's time to cut these out. And then I'm going to repeat the process with the stems. So now I'm going to grab my liquid glue, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right here to the top of each strawberry. And then that way I can put the stems on top. And I don't have to worry about my glue getting anywhere, and they're going to be nice and secure. Okay, so now that we have our strawberries done and this fun background finished, I've already taken this Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder and I embossed 3 strips of Poppy Parade cardstock. These strips, I cut them at 1 1/4 inches by 5 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and start adhering these, so I'm going to glue these to my card base. This is a standard card base measuring 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches when it's closed. And you can just put these whatever direction you want to put them. I am going to overlap them a little, have them at different heights. And then this one, I'm going to angle the other direction. I am getting them, the ones on the edge anyway, kind of fairly close to the edge, because I want to make sure that they're peeking out. And did you see how I just moved that one there? So that's why I like to use the liquid glue, because I have a little bit of time to move things around. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Seal, and I don't use Stampin' Seal a lot. I do use it some, but I've been liking Stampin' Seal or Tear-in Tape for attaching ribbon. And this time, I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to take, this is my Flowers for Every Season ribbon, and y'all, this is retiring. It comes with this Misty Moonlight and Silver twine, and this Just Jade gingham ribbon. So this all comes as a combo. It's the Flowers for Every Season combo, and I love this stuff so much. I'm almost out of the faux linen ribbon that comes in that. I rarely go through a whole thing of ribbon by the time a catalog ends, but I did it this time. I'm gonna miss this stuff. So if you don't have it and you want a good ribbon that can go with any card, pretty much anyone out there, anyone that you could think of, this is a great ribbon to get. So I'm just folding it over. I'm not making this look easy, am I? I don't know what I'm doing here. This is not as hard as I'm making it look. Sometimes I get a little distracted by my talking, and I'm not really focusing on my doing. Okay, where's my paper snips? Let's grab those. I'm just gonna cut off the end here, and you can leave as much hanging off or as little as you want, and angle, of course, as much as you want or as little as you want. I'm gonna bring this down so that it's more in the center of this card instead of right there at the top. I'm going to go ahead and angle that a smidge more. There we go. Okay. Just going to go with that. I should have left more hanging over each end. I kind of didn't plan that out very well. Okay, so I put Stampin' Dimensionals on the back, and I have just the edges left. So if you've watched my videos before, you probably know I like to use every scrap of that. I don't like to waste any of it. So I'm just going to center this piece right here on top of that embossed vellum. There we go. Now I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to use my liquid glue again. Let's see. That's kind of crooked. Before I put the liquid glue on, let me straighten that up some. Much better. Okay. So I'm going to put the liquid glue right here behind this piece of cardstock. That way it's nice and hidden. And the edges of the vellum are not going to be glued down, so it'll give that part a little bit of dimension too, just because it won't be glued super flat. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to take the first strawberry and I'm just going to glue it flat down here on the leaves. And I didn't mess up coloring this time, but sometimes I do. And so if I get some ink somewhere that I don't want showing, or what else could I do that's a little crazy? Sometimes I just get dots of ink, or I color outside the lines, or I might get some embossing powder somewhere that I don't really want it showing. So in that case, I could use my strawberries to cover that up, or sometimes that helps me decide where I want to put my bling. So I'm using today the Silver and Clear Epoxy Essentials. So it comes in clear and silver, and there's, let me turn this over so you can see. So there's 3 different shapes. You have this teardrop and a diamond and then just circles. So I'm going to use the diamond shape. I'm going to put one, just kind of tuck it under here, and then I'm going to put one here, and then one up here. Of course, I used my take your pick tool to do that. And then that is the card. So here again is the picture in the catalog, and then here is my version of this card. So let me know what you think in the comments, if you like the strawberries or the Celebrate with Flowers. And remember, things are starting to sell out on that, from that last chance list, from the things that are retiring in the annual catalog. So if there's anything that you want to purchase, don't wait too long, because it may or may not be there by the end of the catalog. Who knows what's going to sell out and what is going to still be available. So but none of it will be available. Everything that's on the last chance list will be retiring at the May 2nd. Will be the last day for that, unless it sells out ahead of time. So I'll leave a link in the comments if you want to shop the last chance list. I'll leave a link that's going straight to my store online, and I'll also have a link of the PDF if you just want to download the PDF and see what's on the list. If you do place an order this month, I would super appreciate it if you use my host code, and it's there on the screen for you. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it and you haven't already, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to be notified whenever I post a new video, then go ahead and hit that bell. Thanks again for watching. Happy stamping!